Hello, I am Enrique Barra, and in this video we are going to see Flux. Well, in the first place, remember the two-way data binding, where the model and views are joined. The model, when it changes, notifies the view and it automatically changes. And when the view something changes, it notifies the model directly without going to the controller. This is a good idea, but if you have multiple views and multiple models, you will have a lot of lines here, a lot of joins. Okay, so a very bad two-way data binding with a lot of possibilities of concurrency and run races. Facebook had this strange bug caused by this two-way data binding, and they invented and developed React and also Flux. That is the architecture that we are going to see now. Flux is an architecture that Facebook uses for their client applications together with React. Remember that React is just the views, the user interface. So Flux will complete the architecture, the whole architecture, and is very related because it fosters also this one-way data flow or data binding. Okay, so it is an architecture, a pattern, not a framework. What are the different pieces? Well, it consists of actions, dispatcher, store, and views. That is, as I say, where React is with the components. And it fosters this unidirectional data flow. You can see it here. This is very important because the different parts of the applications will be very decoupled. Why? Because I have the user interface here, I have the logic that will be in the store, and I have the different actions that can be done in this application. So everything is very decoupled. They do just one thing. Well, how it works and how it evolves? Well, we have this architecture, and what happens when something happens on the views? We will emit an action. When the user interacts with React, we will emit an action. But what happens if the server emits an action? For example, I get a new message. Well, if there is a new message, the server will emit an action the same as the user does, and the data flow will be the same. One-way data flow, as you can see. And also the last possibility will be the user, by interacting with the view, will call the server. Okay, the user calls the server and the server will emit the action. Perfect, because now again we have the three possibilities: action emitted by the view, by the server, or by the view calling the server, and all of them come through the same flow. Let's explain the different components of this architecture. Well, in the first place we have the views, where React is. Also, we have also the possibility to create these views in another technology or in plain JavaScript with HTML and CSS. The user will interact with the views and will emit actions, or as I say, the server can also emit actions. The actions are just plain JavaScript objects that indicate what changed, what happened. The action will get to the dispatcher, that is just a very easy part or component of this architecture that will see which store is indicated to treat this action, to consider this action, what happened. Maybe one or several stores can do something with that action, and the store is where the logic is, where the functionality is. They will get through the dispatcher the actions, they will know what happened and change the state, change the application, the data, and they will emit a change event. The views will know in this moment that something changed in the application and will get the new state from the store. And finally, they will do in React, for example, a set state and will be updated. So if something again changes, the process will start again. How it scales? Well, if we have a chat application, we have a message store and a message view. But what happens if we want to add a thread control? Well, then we don't need a new dispatcher, the dispatcher will be the same. Maybe we add several actions, but in the same file. Actions are just plain JavaScript objects. What we are going to add is a new thread store. So we will have message store and thread store. And now we have different views, message view and thread view. Okay? Both of them will be able to emit actions that will get to the dispatcher and that will be attended or treated by any of the stores. And what happens if we now want to add new functionality about unread messages? For example, well, we add another new store, and maybe this time without a new view, because the unread thread will be in the thread view. Perfect. So this is how it scales. So what we usually say is actions in plural, dispatcher in singular because we only have one. It's a very simple piece of this application, so it's not a bottleneck. Stores because we will have multiple, and views because we will have also multiple. This is the final piece. Okay, so some final considerations are Flux is not open source, but we can criticize it because it is an architecture. Facebook, in fact, released their dispatcher that we can use and some utils, but we will have to implement ourselves our Flux architecture together with React. It's not any difficult at all. There are many videos that will explain that to you. But also, many developers have created their implementation. We have 3 examples here, and the most known is this, Redux. And it was created by Dan Abramov, and he's now working for Facebook, and I recommend it to you because it's very intelligent. It uses reducers and this kind of concepts, but you can also have many other alternatives. Okay, thank you very much, and see you in the next video.